Hello and welcome to this informational video on phishing. My name is Mark Skelton. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for IT Force. First of all, what is phishing? Phishing is an attempt to obtain sensitive information such as usernames and passwords, maybe credit card details, generally for malicious reasons. It can come in many guises, including phone calls and texts and malicious websites. However, the most common format is email, and we're going to focus on this today. It's worth saying from the start that phishing can have a devastating impact on you and your company. These include financial and reputational, so they could get your credit card information, or worse still, one of your customers' financial details, which could have a huge impact on you. How to spot phishing? Well, some of the clues to look out for. First of all, emails can be out of context, so you could be working in marketing and asked to pay a phone bill or to do a financial transaction. The language used in phishing emails can often be just a little bit off. There could be grammatical or spelling mistakes. They often use online translation tools and just seem a little bit strange. The next three we'll probably cover off in more detail in some sample emails, but they can have very generic dear customer type greetings. They can have an urgent, sometimes even aggressive tone, or they can be impersonal, concise tones, and we'll see some examples of that in a minute. Some of the real giveaway signs for phishing, first of all, the email address that the email is from doesn't match who it claims to be from or from the organization, and I'll give you some tips on how to find that out in a minute. Also, most phishing emails come with a web link, and if you look closely at that web link, you may be able to see that it's not where it's pretending to be from. Again, I'll give you some helps on how to do that in a minute. Okay, well, let's look at some sample phishing emails. All of these are real examples. I've had to hide some of the details for obvious reasons. This first one here claims to be from PayPal. I guess it's a fairly obvious example. A couple of things to see straight off is that it's talking about dear customer, so it's impersonal. They should know my name. Here we've got 24 hours to confirm. We're unable to validate. This is all quite, almost bullying or dramatic type language, and again here what they're trying to get you to do is to click on this link. So one of the first techniques I would like to show you is that to find out who this actual email is from, if you hover over the email address, after a second or two the actual email address who it's from will appear. This will look slightly differently if you're using Outlook, etc. And the first thing to note quite obviously here is this has nothing got to do with PayPal, so this is almost certainly a phishing email. Again, similarly, this is the link. If you hover very carefully over the link, be careful not to click it, again you should pop up the actual details. Again, apologies, it's not exactly, these are screenshots, but you get the idea. And again, you can see straight off here, this has nothing got to do with PayPal, so this is certainly a phishing attack. Okay. Here we have a slightly more sophisticated example. It may not look particularly sophisticated at first glance, but it is actually quite clever. The first thing to note is that the email addresses, the to and the from addresses, were actually correct. Now I've changed these again for obvious reasons, but these were real people. The subject line also was in context. It mentioned a specific client that both parties would have been dealing with. The two links here highlighted, again, they look quite plausible. They look, again, at least at first glance, like sharing links for a Word document. When you look a bit closer, they're not. They're actually just graphics with the malicious hyperlink behind them. But again, it was quite a clever one, and it would easy to see how somebody might get caught out by it. One other example that I'd like to show. This one here, again, it looks very simplistic almost, but it was quite clever. Again, it came from a real person in IT Force to a real person in IT Force. I've changed the details slightly again for obvious reasons, but if you look at the email again, the language again is quite short. It is very concise, but one of the things you noticed, I noticed quickly, was that it's talking about an attachment, yet there was no attachment in the email and there's no invoice. So what were they trying to do here? Well, it's clear that they were trying to get you to reply to this email. and then once you would send a reply to them, they would, I guess, have you on the hook. So again, a very simplistic but quite a clever example there. Well, that's just been a very short tour just to look at a few examples of phishing emails. Please remember the key points is to try and hover over the from address and the links carefully. Those are your two best clues. If you need any further details, please contact us via our at the itforce.ie website. Also, in the description of the video, there should be a link to a do's and don'ts for IT security. I hope you found this in some way useful, and I'll talk to you again. Thank you. Bye.